Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Carissa. I'm going to be guiding you through a 15-minute Pilates session today. I'm going to be using a yoga block. So if you don't have a yoga block available, you can use a bigger book, or you could just totally leave it out. All these exercises, there's going to be modifications, so we will make it work. And to start, we're just going to sit in the middle of our mat. I want you to plant your feet about hip-width distance apart in front of you, toes pointing forward. You want your heels, your knees, and your sit bones in the same line of energy. You're gonna take your block, and we're gonna squeeze it between our inner thighs. So you're gonna bring it down a little lower than the knees. Give it a nice little squeeze, reach your arms forward, pull your belly in, start to activate from inner thighs, pelvic floor, and those deep core muscles. Shoulders down out of the ears. You're just gonna take a nice full inhale. We're gonna go back into a little bit of a C curve in the spine. You're gonna hollow out the belly. You're gonna gently, slowly start to curl your tail underneath you, pointing your tailbone forward as you do so. Rolling almost to the back edge of the sacrum, keeping the chest lifted and the gaze forward. Squeeze the block. Take a sip of air at the bottom. And then we're gonna exhale and you're gonna slow come up. Now I want you to really keep that connection to the block. Again, if you don't have it, you could squeeze your legs together. Hollow out the belly and roll back. You're finding a nice capital C shape from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Squeeze the block, take a sip of air here, and then exhale, come up. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Now you're coming up, you're lengthening out of the crown of the head. Take a nice full inhale, plant those feet, exhale, roll it back, squeeze that block, hollow out, find that deep scoop. Take a sip of air, and then come all the way back. Now in the very last one, we're gonna stay back there. Take a nice full inhale. Exhale, hollow out, scoop it out, roll it back, hold. Chest lifted, gaze forward, chin parallel to the floor. Now all we're gonna do here is we're gonna float the legs up to a tabletop, and then we're gonna bring the feet back down. While we do that, we wanna keep our spine totally still. Now, if you need to bring your arms down to brace you, that's fine too. Arms forward, belly in, lift the legs, squeeze it like a little shake, and then bring it down. Lift it up on the exhale. Bring it down on the inhale. Lift it up on the exhale. Bring it down on the inhale. This doesn't feel appropriate for you today. Just hold the feet down on the floor. Belly pulling in and out. Just starting to really wake up those core muscles. Last 2. Last 1. Bring the feet down, squeeze the block. And let's slowly articulate the spine to roll back onto our mat. Rest the head. Make sure the back of your head is nice and flat. Walk your shoulders down away from those ears so the neck is long. We want our heels underneath our knees or just a touch further out from the knees, and then arms down by the sides. Your spine is nice and long here. We're gonna squeeze that block. We're gonna work on some pelvic lifts or some bridging. We're gonna stay in a neutral spine here. So just take a nice full inhale, and on the exhale, go ahead, squeeze and lift. So we're thinking from shoulders, hips to knees. We're in a beautiful diagonal. Take a sip of air, activate through those triceps. Exhale, lower down, reach your tailbone towards your heels. Nice full inhale, squeeze that block. Belly pulls in and up. Exhale, lift, hold to the top. Take your sip of air, and then exhale to lower. This is a really nice way to strengthen those inner thighs, those pelvic floor muscles. Squeeze that block, take a sip of air, lift it up. We're also really hoping to keep those knees nice and even, right? So that block helps us, gives us that little assist so that those knees don't roll out or in. Spine stays long and straight, squeeze the block. Take a sip of air and go ahead and lift those hips right up. Pause it here, breathe. Exhale to lower. Let's do 1 more, nice full inhale. Really reach those fingertips away. Exhale, squeeze that block, lift it up, hold it. Belly pulls in, nice diagonal, shoulder, hips, and knees. Alrighty, you guys. So from here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna keep that nice squeeze in the block. We're gonna lower our hips just about halfway to the mat. We're gonna exhale, lift all the way. Inhale, lower halfway. It's just from the hips. Exhale, lift all the way. Squeeze the block. Lower halfway, lift all the way and squeeze. Lower halfway, lift all the way and squeeze. And we're gonna be here for 4. Squeeze as you lift for 3. Squeeze as you lift for 2. Squeeze as you lift for 1. Squeeze as you lift, hold it here. And then let's hinge to come all the way back down. Nice work. Squeeze that block. Don't let go of that engagement. Maybe the legs are just together today instead. Now from here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go into our Pilates 100. Have you reach your arms all the way up? Just take those shoulder blades and kind of roll them down the back so that our shoulders have lots of space between the ears. Now we're gonna float our legs up into the tabletop position, knees over the hips, squeeze the block, take a nice full inhale, and on the exhale, we're gonna lift, we're gonna curl up. Squeeze that block, reach your fingertips away, make sure that that curl, you're trying to bring that bottom rib to kiss the top of the hips here. Now we hold this position and all we do is pump the arms. We're gonna sync the breath to the movement of the arms. So it's an in for 5 through the nose, out for 5 through the mouth, and we're gonna match that tempo to the little pulses of the arms. Let's begin. Squeeze that block. Squeeze. Halfway point, you guys. So keep pumping, keep breathing. If you need to rest the head, that's fine too. To make this a little less challenging, you could also rest the feet. If you wanted to make it more challenging, you could extend those legs. Just keep squeezing that block. You guys have got it. Let's do one more set. Bend the knees, reach the arms up, circle it around, pull it in, stretch it out. So good, you guys. Okay. Feet to the floor one more time. Again, we want to try to get those heels in line with the knees and the sit bones. Give that block a squeeze. Arms down, shoulders relaxed. Now we're going to do some articulation of the spine rolling into bridge. Before we were just lifting and lowering the spine as one long segment, and now we're going to gently roll it. So let's tuck that tail to begin. Squeeze the block. Feel that pelvic floor activation. Feel those glutes turn on. And then roll your spine up. Nose points directly to the sky. So does your chin. There's no weight on your head or neck here. And then super, super slow, you're going to roll it back down. Take your time. Stretch it out. Shoulders down and back. Inhale. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that block. Exhale. Tuck it under. Roll it up. Inhale here. Reach it away. You got it. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze that block. Haul it out. Roll it up. Inhale. Exhale. Roll it back down. Squeeze. Roll it up. Inhale here. And then roll it back down. And then here's going to be your last one. Nice full inhale. Squeeze that block. Haul out that belly. Roll it up. So good, you guys. Okay, so what we're going to do now is a lateral hip shift. We're just going to let the hips go a little left and then a little right. We don't want to dip. We don't want to twist the hips. And we don't want to use the legs or the ribs. We want to think more waist and pelvis, right? So squeeze the block and feel that connection in the legs. And then let's very slowly move our hips a little to the left. And then we're going to inhale, center. And as we exhale, we go a little to the right. Again, it's just clean side to side. There's no dip. There's no twist. We're really trying to really isolate this movement to the middle. Make sure to breathe. Really focusing on keeping those glutes active to keep those hips lifted and level. Squeeze that block and we're almost there. We have one more to the right. Hold it at the top. Notice what happened to those hips. They should still be lifted and level here. And then we're going to hinge and you're going to reach the tailbone towards the heels to lower back down. Nice work, everybody. Take the block away. Let your knees go a little left. Just little tiny little windshield wipers. And then let the knees go right. So we're going to do our abdominal series of 5 exercises next. Come back to your center. Now we're going to hold the block between our 2 palms. So just reach it up. Give it a little gentle squeeze between those palms. Pull those shoulders back and down. We really want to set the shoulders for this exercise so they're going to stay nice and stable. Now we're going to activate those lats when you squeeze that block. And we're going to pull both knees just up in towards the chest with the feet off the floor. You can be in a neutral or an imprinted back, whatever feels best or most supportive to you. Take a nice full inhale and on the exhale, squeeze that block and lift it up. Now we're going to pull that left knee and you're going to extend the right leg out. Just hold here, squeeze the block, take a sip of air. On the exhale, pull your abdominals down, down, down as you switch the legs. Inhale, exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale, switch. So I'm looking towards my block. I'm giving it a gentle squeeze. The lower that I reach my legs, the more intense this exercise becomes. So if you need to let it be a little bit less challenging on the back, reach the legs up a little higher, right? So you have some options. You could rest the head if you needed to. The idea is to just focus on that core control, that pelvic and shoulder stability. Last one, and then bring it down. All right, rock out that sacrum in one direction and then the other. Just draw some sacrum circles here. And then we're gonna do our double leg stretch. So reach that block up, squeeze it, knees in towards your chest to begin. Now again, find the ideal positioning for that lower back. Pull your abdominals in to stay there. And then exhale, we scoop and we lift. So we're kind of bouncing right up off the tips of the shoulder blades. On the inhale, squeeze that block as you reach your arms and legs away. On the exhale, bend those knees, squeeze that block, bring it back to center. Now it's really just the arms and the legs that are going to move here. We're trying to keep our torso stable from the tips of our shoulders to the back of our hips, right? Now if that head starts to get tired, if it feels like we're losing it, that we're losing that connection to our core, to our center, rest the head on the inhale, that's a modification. Lift on the exhale. And if you want to just keep that head down, that's totally okay too. Remember that the lower the legs, the more intense in the lower back, so modify that height accordingly. Last one. And then lower it down. Beautiful work. Draw some circles. We have single straight leg next. Okay, so still using the block. We're gonna do like a little pass back. We're gonna pass the block behind the leg that's closest to us, scissor the leg, switch, and pass behind the next leg. So reach those legs to the ceiling, point the toes. Remember, softness in the knees is always okay. Reach those arms up and lift on the exhale. Now we drop that right leg to a hover. We pass the ball from right to left behind that left leg. We switch, we pass left to right. We switch, we pass, we switch, we pass. So I'm gonna keep those toes pointed and look at your knees, scoop that belly in, and you've got this. We're gonna be here for 8, for 7, for 6, for 5, breathe, 4, 3, rest the head if you need to, 2, and 1, and then go ahead and bend those knees, rest those legs, knees go left, knees go right. Okie dokes. We're gonna do our crisscross next. Since we're kind of focusing more today on those inner thighs and that pelvic floor, lower abdominal engagement with this block, we're gonna just keep it between the inner thighs for this work. So go ahead and place it back there, squeeze it, and then pull those abdominals in, try to find that little rib to hip connection, and then let's float those legs up. Knees over the hips, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze your block. Now for your crisscross, hands are gonna go behind the head. Elbows go nice and wide. Take a nice full inhale, and on that exhale, scoop that belly in, lift and lift the knees. Now we're not going to integrate the leg piece of this exercise. We're just gonna keep squeezing the block. And on the exhale, you're gonna twist your right elbow to your left knee, so you're twisting your torso. Inhale, center, exhale, do the other side. Now the other thing that that block is gonna help you with is to keep that pelvic stability, to keep the back of your hips even and level. What happens sometimes is that we have a tendency when we twist one way, we wanna lift the opposite hip. I want you to really try to focus on keeping that anchor point as the lower body. Now open those elbows, rest the head in the hands rather than lifting the head with the hands. Breathe, exhale. Keep that lift in the center if you can, but if you need to rest your head in between, that's fine too. We are almost there, you guys. Squeeze that block. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Center, hold here for just a moment, and then softly rest the head, rest the feet, and release those arms. You can pull your knees in towards your chest if you'd like to here. So the last exercise that we're gonna do in our series of 5, which wasn't necessarily in order, but that's okay. We're gonna do leg lowers. I like to do these at the end because I wanna put my head down and I really wanna focus on that lower abdominal connection. So I'm gonna lift my hips up. I'm gonna kind of float my hips and then put my hands underneath the hips, palms down, back of the hands to the back of the hips. So I'm giving myself almost like a little supported neutral shape. If this doesn't work out for you, you don't need to use the support. You could always use a towel, or you could lift your chest to do a little more advanced variation. So let's squeeze that block, reach the legs up, and just find that placement, right? So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You're gonna have your knees soft, a little bit soft if you need to. You never wanna lock those joints. Point your toes. Now ribs stay down, belly pulls back. We're using our core to inhale and lower the legs. We only go about halfway. We flex the feet. We exhale. We use those strong core muscles to lift back up. Now, what I want you to remember is we're going slow. We're not using momentum. We're also focusing on keeping the low back and the pelvis stable and still by really connecting to those deep core muscles, right? Now I'm going to do 4 more. I'm going to squeeze that block. So good, you guys. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Last 2. And last one. Point and reach. Flex. And return. Bend the knees. Land the feet. Gently lift your hips up off your hands and roll your spine down. Block comes out. We'll take it left. And then we're going to take it right. So we are going to do some isometric work with this block. So we're going to bring the legs back. We're going to make sure we're either in pelvis in neutral or pelvis in imprint, which means you just tuck under and press that lower back down, letting your tailbone point more away from you. If that's where you can stay stable, that's where you're going to be. Otherwise, try to practice in a neutral if possible. And then neutral is just enough space behind your lower back for like a blueberry to fit comfortably without being squished. So we're going to take the legs together for these exercises. I'm going to squeeze them in. And then I'm going to start to just gently pulling that belly in, lift the feet up, and I'm going to come into that tabletop shape. The block, I'm going to hold it the long way. It's going to go one of the sides right up against my 2 quads, right up against the top of my thighs, right below where my knees are in the shape. And then my hands go right up against the other side of the block. So it's hands, blocks, legs, right? Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do this in stages. The first stage, head stays down, and I'm focusing on that deeper connection to the abdominals. Try to keep the knees over the hips, pull your abdominals in. Really, really connect that core. And then as you're ready, pulling your belly back and down, I want you to push your hands to your legs and your legs to your hands. And I want you to breathe. We're going to be here for 8. You might get a little shake. You're really deeply connecting here. For 7. For 6. 5. Keep breathing. 4. Keep pushing. 3. 2. And 1. So good, you guys. Go ahead and release. Second level, we're going to lift the chest. We're going to be looking at the block, and we're going to be doing the exact same isometric work that we were just doing. So, belly pulls in. Float your left leg up. Float your right leg up. Bring the legs together. Bring the block to that same exact place. Now we're activating the core. Hands to legs, legs to hands. Scoop and lift. Push it in. Breathe. For 8. Whew, get that shake. 7. 6. 5. Keep breathing. 4. 3. 2. Keep pushing. And 1. So good. Rest it all down. Okay. The next one we're going to do is a variation. It's obliques. It looks kind of like the crisscross, but we're just going to be holding it. Knees over the hips. 1 at a time. Now the block we're going to take in a different direction, right? So it's going to come with the shorter piece right underneath your left knee. Hold it in place with your left hand. Take your right hand behind your head. Now you're going to lift up to your center, pull your belly in, lift to the tips of the shoulder blades. Now twist across. Now we're going to put that right elbow, it's really kind of more tricep, up against the block. That's right below the left knee. Place your left hand behind your head. Push your elbow to your knee to your elbow, and then extend your right leg out, and let's hold it for 8, 7, see if you can really lift, keep the back of your hips even. 6, 5, pull that belly in and up. 4, keep pushing. 3, 2, bring it back, and bring it down. Center and down. Okie dokes. Twisting the other way. This is it for us, you guys. For these exercises, lift your feet up, put the block in the same place, hold it still, lift it up, twist it across, find that connection. It might be more tricep than elbow, that's okay, and then hold it here, and then extend that left leg, push. Breathe, keep everything stable for 8, 7, 6, 5, watch that neck, come in the core. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back, Center yourself, release the block. All right, to stretch out our core muscles and release our back a tiny bit, we're gonna do a twist. I'm gonna have you walk your legs together and then let your knees fall left. Now that right hip might stack a little over the left, but keep your shoulder blades down. And then let your right arm just reach out to the right, and you're gonna just look over that right shoulder and just breathe. All right, and then take it back to center. And then let your knees fall to the right. Take your left arm out and then look over that shoulder and just breathe. All right, and then gently, slowly bring it back to center. Okay, so we're gonna come up and we're gonna do some side lying legs. So let's actually just kind of roll to that left side to start. You're gonna take your block with you, okay? So we're not gonna use the block right off the bat. We're gonna have it available and use it for some of the ending exercises. So when you come onto your side lying position, I'm gonna place my hand behind my head, just keep my elbow down. You can also be on your forearm. You can also just kind of wrap the hand behind the head and rest your left ear to the inside of your left bicep. So you have some ideas for that one. I'm gonna have you bend your knees in front of your hips, reach it back so that you can kind of reach through those heels. So if you're up against a wall, it'd be shoulders, hips, and heels. Those would be your points of contact. Now I want you to take your right leg up, and then actually we will use this block to start. So I want you to kind of just give it like a little squeeze behind and activate this hamstring, okay? So we're gonna lift this right leg up, and then we're gonna lower this right leg down. We're gonna lift this right leg up, and then we're gonna lower this right leg down. So what we're thinking is pelvis stays stacked, shoulders stay stacked, core stays on, left side of the waist stays lifted, and we breathe. Try to get that hamstring nice and active as you squeeze that block. And we're gonna be here for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Okie dokes. Go ahead, take the block out, lower the leg down. Now we're gonna take the bottom left leg and stretch it out, push the heel away. Top right leg can either cross or you can extend it, and it's just gonna rest. So big toe or the sole of the foot is gonna be making contact with the floor. Let's take the left heel back in line with the left sit bone, flex the toes. All the joints are gonna point forward in that bottom left leg. Lift the leg up and squeeze it as you lift. Squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift. Lift it higher, lift it higher, lift it higher, lift it higher. Just breathe and squeeze and lift and squeeze. Think inner thigh and outer hip activation. Heel back in line with that sit bone. It stays up and we're just lifting it higher and higher. Squeeze it in. You've got it. Let's be here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then go ahead and lift it, hold it, point those left toes, draw some tiny circles. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower it down. So good. Now we're gonna go back to this lovely block, squeezing in between those inner thighs. Reach both your legs long, heels back again in line with those sit bones. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift both legs up. Belly pulls in, we have the stacking of the shoulders and the hips. We're not rolling onto our back. Right hand just comes in front of you like a solid little kickstand here. Squeeze that block. Belly pulls in and up. And on the exhale, both legs lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, both legs lift. Keep squeezing that block. Now we're not trying to kind of shorten, we're trying to reach those legs away. That's it. 2 more, squeeze. Last one. Beautiful work. Let's add on the arm and make this a full side lying banana. I just need a tiny, tiny bit more space. So I'm gonna scoot down. Now when we add the arm, you're gonna really extend that left bottom arm, palm up. You're gonna rest your left ear to the inside of your left arm. You're gonna keep that connection, right? Your arm to your ear, because we don't wanna crank our neck. We wanna keep our head in line with the rest of the spine. The idea is we're coming from the side body and we're gonna lift everything up, just balancing on that left hip. Let's begin. Right arm in front of you like a kickstand. Stretch it out, squeeze the block. That left bottom leg can already start to float. Nice full inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale. Squeeze the block. We're almost there. If you've watched my videos before, you probably know I'm a horrible counter. So let's do one more. And lower it down. Really beautiful, you guys. Let's switch the gears. We're gonna gently, slowly come up, and then we're gonna go onto the right side. Same idea, different side of the body, right? Just noticing how when we work one side, it might feel a tiny bit different than the other, and that's okay. You can modify as needed. I'm gonna come into the same sideline position, hand behind the head, and then bring your knees in front of your hips, bring your heels back, make sure if you're up against the wall, you find that connection. Flip the top left leg in line with the sit bone. Go ahead and give that block a little squeeze. Now the block is kind of more up against the hamstring than behind the calf. I just really want you to really kind of activate the back of that piece of the leg. We're gonna lift up, we're gonna lower down. Again, keeping that nice little grip on the block. Belly pulls in and up. We're staying stacked, left side over the right. Keep that length through the side body. Keep pulling that right side of the waist up off the floor every time you lift that leg. All right, we're almost there. Let's be here. 4, squeeze that block. 3, 2, and last one. Beautiful work. Now we can go into those inner thigh lifts by stretching the legs long. Bring your heels in line with those sit bones. Take your top left leg forward. Again, you can bend the knee and plant the foot. Now that bottom right leg, all the joints are pointing forward. We lift from that outer right hip, and then we just keep lifting. Now what I want you to imagine, it's kind of like almost like you have a stack of books on your ankle. You don't want to twist the ankle, you don't want to twist the knee. All the movement is coming from the hip. All the joints point forward. It's almost like you're pushing it up against into a wall, so you're trying to work in both directions. Just keep breathing and squeezing. Keep pushing that right heel away from you, like you're reaching it across the room. Give it that nice activation. You guys have got this. You'll feel a little burn, and then we'll start that count up. All right, you guys, keep reaching it away. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, lift, hold, point those toes, 8 circles. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So good. Okie dokes. Stack the legs, make sure we're nice and even and level. And then we're gonna take the block and we're gonna squeeze it, inner thighs. Okay, and then from here, top body down, legs lift. Belly pulls in and up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that block. I'm gonna point my toes. Lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Lower, squeeze, lift. Lower, keep squeezing that block, lift. We're gonna be here. 4, don't roll onto the back. 3, keep that core connection, keep that stacking. 2, 1. So good, you guys. Full bananas next. Extend the right arm, rest the right ear to the inside of the right arm, right palm faces up. Remember, we're keeping the ear resting on the arm so that we don't get too deep into that neck. We want to think side body, right? Squeeze, belly pulls in and up. Exhale, left. Reach it away as you lower. Squeeze and lift. Reach it away lower. Squeeze and lift. Reach lower. Squeeze, lift. We're gonna be here. 4, 3, 2, keep that head down. And 1, squeeze that block. So good, everybody. Let's rest. Roll onto your back. Take the block aside. We'll do a little figure 4 quick to stretch it out before we move on. We are going to do right side over the left to start. Right ankle over that left knee. You can either just stay here. If you have any knee issues, flex your feet when you do this stretch. You can push your right knee away. Or if you want to open the hip up even more, lift your left foot up off the floor and interlace the fingers behind the left thigh. Just breathe. And yawn if you need to. Okay, let's switch sides. You want to get a couple good deep breaths on each side of the stretch. Left ankle over the right knee. Interlace the fingers if that feels appropriate. And just because on one side you went a little deeper in the stretch than the other, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do that on both sides, right? If it doesn't feel appropriate on one side, we all have different things going on with our bodies, so just listen to your body, listen to what it's saying. Stretching, strengthening, whatever you're doing. Just give your body your full attention, right? Okie dokes. Uncross the ankles from the knees. Do your tiny windshield wipers. Do whatever you need to do here. We are going to do a few roll-ups. We're going to grab that block one more time. You're going to take your legs all the way out, long and straight. You're going to squeeze your legs together. You're going to make sure those big toes are lined up. We're going to take our block. We're going to reach our arms up. We're going to pull our shoulders back and down out of the ears. We're really going to connect to those lats by giving that block a gentle squeeze with a softness in the elbows. Take a nice full inhale. Activate the glutes. And on the exhale, reach the block away. Follow the block with your gaze as you start to peel your spine up. Reach, 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 reach. Reach your block towards your feet. Your arms are about shoulder height. You stack your spine. We hollow ourselves out. We're squeezing that block and we're going back. We inhale to the sky. Squeeze those legs together. We exhale. We roll it up. This is a slow motion movement. This is spinal articulation. The idea here is we're really trying to get each individual vertebra to softly come off that mat, right? Really deepening that connection to core. Now, if your legs fly up when you do this, bend your knees a little bit and just plant the heels, right? That should help you stay a little bit more connected and getting the back of the body a little more active. If that's not working for you, you could always go up against a wall and push your feet up against the baseboard with the softness of the knees. Your knees will bend in one direction. And then let's come back. Keep that connection to the block. Keep that squeeze. Don't let up. This is going to be our last one. You guys are going to come up. We're going to hold. Reach and stretch and stack. So good. Okay. Let's move on to some plank work. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put the block the long ways a little bit towards the back edge of my mat. I'm going to scoot away from it. And then I'm going to squeeze it so that it's more between my lower portion of my legs, right? So below the knees. And I'm going to put my hands down, and you can also plank from your fists, your forearms. You could plank at the wall. There's so many different ways to do it. I'm going to go for my palms, spreading my fingers wide. Now I have the connection to the block. I'm squeezing it. And then I'm going to tuck my toes under. I'm going to pull my belly in. I'm going to keep my upper body over my wrists or elbows, right? Shoulders over my wrists or elbows. I'm just going to hover the knees. And I'm going to do kind of like a little crawl, walk to get out into the plank. Now I'm squeezing the block. I'm pushing the floor away, pulling the shoulders away, keeping the neck long, looking past the front edge of my mat. I'm really connecting to that shoulder girdle, right? I'm pushing out. I shouldn't feel collapsed. My core is on, my spine is long, my heels are lifted, and my legs are active because I'm squeezing the block. And we can either stay here, or we're gonna do some hip dips, some little twists. You're trying to keep those shoulders over either the wrists or the elbows, but you are gonna dip your hips to one side and then lift and level out. You're squeezing the block the whole time. Dip and twist, lift and level. Dip and twist, lift and level, dip and twist, lift and level. Belly in, dip and twist, lift and level. Squeeze that block, dip and twist, lift and level. Keep squeezing, dip and twist. So good, dip and twist. We're almost there. Last side, and center. Make sure you're nice and aligned, then drop the knees. You can actually reach your hips back towards that block in a child's pose. Stretch it out. Breathe. All right, come back up. Now we're gonna do a little side body work. So take the block aside. What we're gonna do our side bend mermaid with a twist. Well, we're gonna get there. Lots of different ways to do a side plank, everybody. You can stagger your legs, you can drop the bottom knee, you can drop the top knee, and there's lots of different ways to do it. I want you to find the one that feels the best for you. I'm gonna be extending both of my legs and doing just a tiny little stagger. So I'm also gonna be on my palm. Again, you can be fist, forearm. There's ways to do side planks up against a wall or a chair if you need to as well. So you're gonna just first find that alignment, shoulder over the wrist. I'm on my left side to start. I have my block just right in front of me. I'm gonna extend my right leg long and straight to the front corner of my mat. I'm gonna push into my palm and lift my hips and then stagger my stance. I kind of have a toe-heel connection here. Now once I found my side body, making sure shoulder over shoulder, hip over hip, I'm gonna grab my block and I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna keep that lift through the left side of my body. Now I'm gonna inhale, reach. I'm gonna exhale, right arm overhead. I'm gonna inhale, reach, lift those hips. Now I'm gonna exhale, I'm gonna pivot, pike my hips, and reach my right hand towards my left ankle. Push, and then I'm gonna come back to the side plank. One more time, inhale, reach. Exhale, side bend over the head. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pivot, hips reach. Right hand to the left ankle. Come back, and then I'm just gonna bend my knees to come down. Now I'm gonna take the block down. I'm gonna take my right hand underneath my two shins. I'm gonna take my left arm, and I'm just gonna reach it up and over. Finding a counter stretch in that mermaid, and then I bring it back. Now we're just gonna flip it around to the other side. So you're gonna sit on your right hip, you're gonna stack your left leg over your right. First we find the right alignment. So hands underneath the shoulder, fingertips are pointing away. If you're on your palm, just make sure you have that correct alignment. Then left leg reaches to the front corner of your mat. You lift your hips and you find your stance. Find that stacking, grab the block. Inhale, reach. Exhale, over the head. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pike, push, twist. Inhale, reach. Exhale, over the head. Left side over the right, you guys. Reach, pike, press, twist. Come back to the center, bend the knees, and go ahead and bring it down. Nice job. Let's do that counter stretch. Left hand under the shins. Right arm reaching up and over. Reach, 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 reach. Bring it back. Lift the heart up. Let's finish in a prone position. So we're gonna, again, keep that block close. You're gonna come down onto your belly. So just to add a little bit of extra upper body work, I'm gonna find a plank. I'm gonna drop my knees. I'm gonna hug my elbows in close to my side body, and I'm gonna slowly, slowly lower myself onto my mat on my belly. Then I'll extend those legs. Tops of the feet push down, make sure they're not tickling in or out, hip width distance apart. Quads are active, kneecaps lift, tuck that tail. Hands under the shoulders, elbows pin back. Lengthen the spine and lower it down. Okie dokie, we're gonna do baby swan to begin. That's just a smaller version of swan, which means we're gonna keep our hands down and we're gonna lift our heart just a few inches at a time. Really keep that connection to alleviate any tension in the lower back. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, lower. Now when you lift up into spinal extension, you're really activating the back of the body. You're also not trying to move the head from the neck. We're actually moving from the center of the back, so you're not looking up at the sky. It's more like you're just watching a marble roll off the bridge of your nose. Inhale, keep those legs active, pointed. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okie dokie, make a pillow. Crossing forearms, turn your head, bend your knees. Feet go right, feet go left. Just a gentle stretch. Go ahead and extend those legs back behind you. We're going to use the block for the next step. So place the block about an arm's length in front of your mat, right in the middle there. Hold that block between your two palms. Give it a squeeze. Soften those elbows. Make sure your shoulders aren't lifting into the ears. Now, prone position can be hard because when we reach those arms away, they kind of automatically just want to go right into those ears. So really pull them back and down. Activate from underneath those arms. Now we're going to lift both the arms and the legs, squeezing that block. Belly pulls in and up. Chest can already be a tiny bit lifted to begin. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Activate, squeeze the block. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 3 more. Look at your block. Last one. Okie dokes. We're going to add on to that piece. We're going to come up, squeezing the block, holding the chest lifted at the same height, and we're going to do some swimming kicks. Swimming kicks, you're lifting the legs by activating the glutes. You let go of one glute, that's how the leg will fall, and then you lift it, you activate that glute and it will rise, and we're alternating, okay? So the legs stay long and straight, try not to move from your knees. Extend the arms, pull the shoulders back and down, squeeze everything, lift on the inhale, keep the connection underneath those arms, and take it for a swim. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Make your pillow. Turn your head, bend your knees. Feet go side to side. So good. Stretch and breathe. Okie dokes. Last piece to the puzzle here. Extend those legs. Reach for the block. Now, we're going to lift. You're going to hold the block in the left hand. Keep the arm as straight and long as you can. Reach it behind you. Reach behind with your right. Grab the block. Reach your right arm forward. Reach your left arm forward. And then lower it down. The idea here is you're keeping your body still. You're just moving the arms. We're going to do that again. Using the right hand to reach back first, okay? I'm just going to scoot just a touch because I have my plants and I am kind of hitting them. Okay, squeeze that block. Inhale, lift. Hold the block in the right hand. Reach behind your back. Grab the block with your left hand. Keep everything still. Reach it forward. Reach it forward. Lower down. We've got 2 more. We'll do one more left, one more starting on the left, one more starting on the right. Let's begin. Inhale, squeeze, lift. Now, if shoulder mobility is an issue for you, maybe you keep your hands down, right? Maybe we're not adding this piece in today. Maybe we're just practicing lifting the chest. We meet ourselves where we're at in Pilates, right? Inhale, lift. Modifications for everything. We do, it feels the best. So good, everybody. Put your hands under your shoulders. Push yourself back to child's pose. We have made it to the last 5 minutes of our Pilates practice today. Wiggle out those hips, stretch it out. Knees as wide as you want. Heels push back to the sit-bones. Breathe. Now on the next exhale, walk your hands to the left. Push your right sit-bone towards your right heel. Find your right side body stretch. Keep reaching those fingertips away from you as you do this. Breathe.
Inhale, center. Reach it away, stretch it away. Go to the right. Push it back and breathe. Left heel reaches to the left sit bone as you walk your hands to the right, opening through the left side of the body. Bring back to the center. Find one more deep child's pose. Push those heels back, reach the crown of the head forward. And then super slow motion. Hands walk back. Chin pulls to chest. We stack that spine up to a comfy seat.
Okay, let's finish it up. So what I'm gonna do, we're just gonna sit and we're gonna take a couple deep breaths together. Before we do that, let's just stretch our wrists because we did do some planking and some side planking. So let's take the right palm forward, fingertips reach up, and we'll peel those fingertips back with the left palm towards you. Push that wrist away, open and breathe. And then let's take the left palm, peel the fingertips back, and breathe. Okay, and then take those arms out, circle out those wrists. So we're gonna finish our practice just by taking 3 deep breaths together. Let's start just by kind of adding some shoulder shrugs up, back, and down. Thinking about taking that nice full inhale on the rise of the shoulders and an exhale as they fall. You can close your eyes while you do this if you choose. And then the last 3 breaths, we're gonna incorporate the arms to do some big arm circles. So we inhale, as the shoulders go up, so do the arms, fingertips reaching to the sky. On the exhale, we flip those palms, we open wide, we pull those shoulders back, 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 and down. Keep the spine long and straight, sit up tall here, inhale. Fill it up. Exhale. Let it go. Last deep breath here, you guys. All right, you guys, we are all done for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice, and I will see you again soon.